The humble beginnings.
Well, it's so great to be here on this occasion celebrating Highway's 26 years. It's been an amazing journey, and it's been a journey with a story. And so we want to just share over the next few moments just some of that story and what it's felt like for us as the senior pastors, and to bring you into some of the memories, and to most certainly give thanks to God for this story that has been unfolding now since 1995. We seemed to eat a lot, didn't we? There was always a cake or a barbecue or...
I remember transporting that cake in the back of the car. It was huge.
And one year it slid out.
One year it slid over.
Yeah, we had to patch it up.
There's Caleb Sarong, our first baby dedication, right there.
Yeah.
Still with us today, Children's Church. It is amazing when you say yes, what happens from there. And that's what we did, wasn't it?
We did.
They said, would you like to plant a church? We said yes. And it was a handful of people, I think about 11 adults and a couple of children, and we put ads in the paper, we did the mail out in the letterbox, and prayed that anyone would show up, and and they did. Church cricket match, Highway
versus South Africa.
That was good.
Yeah, I can't remember who won though, can you?
Wouldn't have been me.
We were green, we were new, we didn't really know exactly how it was all going to take shape and form. And we began in very humble beginnings. We began at the Pimpama School, state school, just minutes down the road from where we are at the moment. And it was an exciting start. We started with a lot of enthusiasm and passion and faith and expectation, but certainly with very few people, resources, and we literally had no money.
Fancy dress nights, we won't be revisiting them.
Yes, you and I went as the President and the First Lady, Jackie
JFK
O and JFK.
Jackie O. You actually look like Jackie O.
Do I?
Yeah. I look younger now. Well, we moved from the hall, the school demountable, over to the Pimpama Hall, and that was, for me at the time, we had about 50 people, and it was kind of crowded in the demountable, but over in the School of Arts Hall, it was like a pimple on an elephant. And I remember sitting on the stairs to that hall thinking, I hope I've done the right thing here. I was actually panicking. We were paying $7 an hour rent for the hall, and we're up into big finance now, and I just didn't know if anyone was going to come. So it was a lot of money to pay for just 50 people, but as we did it, as we took that step of faith, the people came.
It was a wonderful 10-year experience for us because it was there. I mean, it was typical, early beginnings. You set up, you pack down, and the faithful crew that we had at that time, their day would begin at 4:30 a.m. every morning.
Yeah.
And we grew from those 50-odd people into finally having to go to a multiple service on a Sunday morning. Remember that?
We did. One of the key elements to that season in that 10 years, doing multiple services, was the volunteer buy-in. And we had people that would start, as Anne said, at 4:30 in the morning and then pack up late at night after a church service. Everyone would just get in, pack up the chairs, roll up the carpet, wind up all the cords and pack the lights. And there was such an incredible volunteer spirit in those 10 years. It was incredibly valuable. It bonded us all together with a sense of mission and a sense of purpose, and everyone just had fun. It was a great time in that 10 years.
India.
The first children's home in India. first women's conference in India that we put on. In that 10 years, there were great steps of faith. We purchased the land at Ormo, 2 acres at that time. And that was a faith journey for us to purchase land and to build the building that we're currently in. And we only had, I think at that point, about 300 people at that time. And I remember one day saying to the church, we need to buy land, we need to build, but we need to get a loan. And we were looking at $1.6 million to get a loan to build. And we took up one offering in that hall of about $350,000 in one offering, and that was out of 300 people. And when the finance company saw the offering that was taken up, they said, Byron, let's not see if we can do this. Let's see how we can do this.
And take possession of the land was pretty exciting.
It was exciting.
Yeah, that was a very exciting time. Our church came, we stood on the ground, we had a guitarist, and we just worshipped to a guitar. And then we drove stakes in the ground and everybody prayed. It was a very, very exciting time for our church possessing the land.
Was.
And
Yeah,
I remember standing on the ground and just feeling the presence of God, and it was very, very significant. A great memory, great blessing.
I remember the faith aspect of driving the car axles into the ground. We made stakes out of car axles and painted them gold, and came up on the land and drove those stakes into the ground. It was such a faith leap for us, and young and old grabbed a hold of a sledgehammer and drove those stakes in, and it was incredibly symbolic of putting a stake in the land for God. And I think it was about, after 10 years, we were about 420 people. And you're right, when we came into the building, within the first year, we were up around 900, which was crazy for us.
But we've had some enormous challenges, and many of you stood with us in that time of personal challenge. A real personal challenge as Byron's health went down, and he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And so a real personal challenge hit our family. Our family were extraordinary at that time, but you can imagine what it's like when their dad has been diagnosed with that. And so as a family, we rallied together, but not only our immediate family with our children and our grandchildren, but also our church family.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. So many prayed for us, and many prayed for us within Highway, many prayed for us across the world, and it was a time that we really felt the friendship that comes with being in church life. And you know, we thank God because Byron saw that through and came through the other side, and today a clean bill of health with that. So many years have followed since then, and of course to our own personal family, many grandchildren have been added to our family, and so we come with gratitude because there are grandchildren that you wouldn't have met had that gone another way.
We started with one caption in the early days, and it was a family church with a missions heart. And family has always been very much a core value at Highway, and we've seen that not only in our family, like with the, you know, these days coming up to 10 grandchildren, you know, but also to be around as the senior pastors for 26 years, you see the families and you see the young people that actually meet at youth and grow up, and you get to marry them, and then they have children and you get to dedicate their children, And you know, it's just been an incredible journey of multiplication with family after family after family. And so family's been very strong, but also our mission has been with us hand in hand. We've been in India now for many, many years, and we have, you know, ministered to literally thousands and thousands of people, not only with practical, medical aspects, but also children's homes that have been decentralised now and put into communities where they're in foster care, which was something that India had, you know, it just wasn't happening over there. And oh, look, it just goes on and on and on, the work over that time in mission and also locally. You know, we've had an incredible impact locally, and with our governments and our foster care, and with children out of domestic violence, and the Gotcha Back program has been incredibly successful. But also the carols, honey, you started that. Wow. A long time ago.
Yeah, I think it was 1997. I really just started with an idea, but doesn't everything start with an idea? And our son Shane was playing guitar at it was the Logan City Council doing something on the back of a truck. There was only about 200 people there, and I just had an idea. Maybe Highway Church, which would have been hard to remember. Maybe we were a church size of around 100 people, just perhaps including children at that time. We didn't have, you know, too much resource, but we decided to do it anyway. And of course today our Highway Carols is known everywhere. It's known throughout the Gold Coast, and it's grown to numbers that I can't calculate, but some have calculated anywhere between 15 to 17,000 people now enjoy this Highway Carols that started with an idea on the back of a truck in about 1997, somewhere around there. But of course over the years we've had opportunities, and this is the journey of faith. It brings opportunities, and we've had the opportunity to purchase real estate. And you know, 10 acres at Goldmine Road that is sitting there waiting now for future things to happen there. And of course also our 5.5 acres at Gilston, which is our highway home at Gilston, and run so beautifully by Pastors David and Claire Hearn. And so we are grateful for everything that's happened. When you look back to those early beginnings in the Pimpama School Hall, in a multi-purpose school room that seated maximum about 50 people, and to see how God has added to the work at Highway over these years is staggering. It's a privilege, but you know, should we expect anything less? Because this is the journey of faith, and it takes you somewhere.
Well, 16 years ago we had that prophecy about 3 locations and multiple thousands, and today we've seen that realised with our location here at Ormeau, our location at Gilston, and also our online location, which is reaching today, we don't know, untold amount of people that can watch that anywhere. We've got friends in India, America, New Zealand, that all tune in to our Sunday services online, and you know, that you cannot calculate, but you know, God has been incredibly faithful, and we've just kept saying yes, and put our shoulder to the wheel, turned up every day, and watched God do amazing things. It has just been an incredible journey. He has been so kind to us, so kind to us.
And so the story continues. The story continues with the same measure of faith that we began with in 26 years ago, April 9, 1995. The story continues with that same measure of faith that we had to move into future days and the generations to follow. So we thank you. We just say we're grateful to God, and we're grateful to you, because you've all contributed something to this Highway story, and we thank you. We really do.
Yeah, God bless.
God bless.